Shalom, shalom. This brother you call from SOZ Atlanta.
Hey, Shalom, it's Brother Pada Wafi from SOZ Houston.
And this is another installment of Blow Your Trumpet.
Hey, staying on that pivot, man. All praises.
Today, we got a few articles set up, quickly through the spirit. Um, through the spirit, it's a lot going on in the world, but it's also a lot of background stuff going on as well. So we got to make sure we cover the background stuff as well as the stuff in the forefront, right? Because you can have your war going on, you can have all these different plagues and diseases going on, right? You got different bugs going on, especially throughout Israel. But at the same time, you also got to cover stuff that's going on in the background. Not everything, mainstream media is going to always be covered, but you also got to get the smaller things that people don't really pay attention to. Why? Because the Lord say, we can't be ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small, right? So that's very important. So that being said, we're gonna kick this thing off through the spirit. Like I said, we got our articles pulled up. So I'm gonna just go ahead and share my screen real quick and get the precepts. Can you see my screen, Potter?
Khan King.
Okay, all praise. Right. So before we kick this off, right, um, just want to say, throw up a prayer for the brother Karataza and his household, um, for the health of his family. He's been going through some sickness, throughout the camp. So just make sure you throw up prayers for all brothers, and sisters throughout the body, right? So let's get into it. Right, this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse number 17. It says, "And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to God and the Father by him." Right. So we do this for the edification of Israel. Right. This is, in word and in deed, right? Being all in the name of the Lord. Right. We don't just hop on a live stream because we're bored. Right. We hop on this for the edification of Israel because we care for our people. We want our people to know what's going on around them. Right. Let me get this real quick. First Peter chapter 5 and verse number 8. And if you got a precept, Potter, just let me know. I can pull it up for you.
Khan King, I'm waiting for you to get your last precept, and I'm going to get in a precept.
For sure. Right, this is the book of First Peter chapter 5 and verse number 8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." Right, so we have to be sober. When it says be sober, right, it means we have to have a clear mind. We have to think clearly. Right, we have to be able to see and understand, you know the things that are going on in the world. Because if you have a man that he's constantly just drunk, metaphorically speaking, if you have a man he's constantly drunk, he's not aware of his surroundings, right? You got that one friend at a party in the world where he always has to get an Uber home, right? You don't want to be that person that's always just unclear of their surroundings, right? Because that'll lead to death. You're not watching what's going on. The Lord said he set up watchmen. You have to be, careful about the things that are going on in the world, right? Because these things are set up to blot out the name of Israel, right? So we have to be mindful because we're walking on a straight and very narrow path, right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, which is an enemy, right? The devil, and we know who that is, right? The devil means to deceive, who has been deceiving, right? The heathen, the enemy, everyone outside of Israel, but most predominantly Esau, the so-called white man. It says, "As a roaring lion walketh about," right? Going up to and fro throughout the country, throughout the world, right? Seeking whom he may devour. And he's going to take down anybody that he can, right? Most predominantly any Israelite that gets caught lacking, right? I'm gonna bring out this last precept through the spirit, and then I'm gonna let you get in there, brother.
See that?
And this is a classic. I'm gonna bring out all the classics, man. Right, this is Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17. Right, this is what should be going through every man of Israel's head, with you just not coming to the truth. whether it's a big report or whether it's a small report, and we have to give that report. We have to make sure our people are in the know. You know, it'll be wrong for me. I'll use a worldly example. It'll be wrong for me. You know, you got the new J's just released, and I know Potter's been one of them J's for a minute. It'll be wrong for me to know that the J's came out, right? But for me to get them and not tell Potter, and now months go by, and now the brother then missed the release. You know, so it'd be wrong for me to exclaim things that's going on in the world, and now Potter's just caught out there lacking. You know, Lord forbid. But a brother's caught out there lacking and is unprepared, right? So that's the role of the watchman. We have to be on watch and giving an account of things that are happening in the world, right? It says, and give them warning from me. And that is a commandment. We have to come out and give warning to our people, right? But you got it, Potter.
Right? That was a beautiful point, man. You know what I'm saying? Potter don't wear J's, but that's a beautiful point, man.
Hmm.
Right? Always got to be on the lookout for the nation, man. Especially in these times, because of what? If you notice, this year went by fast, man. I could have swore like 2 weeks ago it was dang Halloween, man. Now what? We already at the end of Esau's so-called calendar, man. So they can start it all over again. Things are speeding up in these last days, man. The sun goes down at 6 o'clock. If it's lucky, sometimes we going down at 5:45.
Yeah, it's 5:30 up here.
See that? So hey, things are getting hasted in these last days, man, and it's being shortened for what? The elect's sake, man. So at this time right now, we're living in a very special time, man, where prophecy is being revealed and all hell is about to break loose on this earth, man. Right? And the watchmen, we're out here to tell our people to do what? Repent and search for the Lord, man. Let's get this real quick. Give me can I get the book of Jeremiah chapter 5, Baba Kasha?
For sure. What verse did you want, King?
I want 6.
Con.
Jeremiah 6.
Con. It says, wherefore Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evenings shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many and their backslidings are increased.
See that? Hey, so this is during the time of the Lord sending Jeremiah to prophesy against Jerusalem, man. And he's telling you, the lion's going to wait for you, right? A wolf is going to spoil you, and a leopard is going to watch over your cities, man, to devour you and to kill you, because what? Transgressions are being multiplied in the earth, man. Because Israel, we multiplied our transgressions. Hey, the Lord's going to be multiplying woe and destruction unto us, man. And the whole goal of the so-called white man, so-called East Indian man, so-called Palestinian man, is to do what? Keep us in sin, right? That's their whole goal. Can I get Judith 5 and verse 20? And I'm going to show you why they go, right? I'm going to show you why that's their goal, man. It's to make sure that all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are sinning. Because as long as they're sinning, what? They have the Most High, he's not with them. Every time we sin in this scripture, the Lord leads us. So this is their goal. 5 and verse 20. It says what? Read that, King Papa Shaw.
Con, this is the book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse number 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
You see that? That it's their ruin if they sin against their God, man. So the whole goal is to push sin out there on a big scale, or whatever scale they can, man. So they do small things, subtle things, to destroy the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, and child, huh? Right? And as you see in these articles that we're going to bring out, hey, it's going to be small things to affect us and to destroy us as a nation, man. But Khan King, I'm ready for that first article whenever you are.
All praises. Right? So this is the first article, right? This is on Reuters, right? A lot of times you can't really go to the mainstream news, like we say. The hell is this? You can't go to the mainstream news all the time because they're not going to report, especially American mainstream, like ABC. What is there? Like CNN. CBS. You can't really go to you can go to them, but sometimes it's not always wise to believe in every word that they put out there, right? Whereas you have, what you have your underground news, which I don't believe Reuters is technically underground, but it's a better news source than CNN, right? Because they're going to give you what Americans want to hear. They're not going to give you the cold hard truth, right? They're going to sugarcoat things and they're going to put things, articles out there that really don't even matter, right? So this is a news source that I like to use sometimes. It's called Reuters, right? And they have things going on from world news, business, market sustainability, all these different types of things. But this article that we're going to go on now is California approves rules for converting sewage waste to drinking water. Now, if you let that sink in, well, we're going to get into it, right? But just let that title sink in, right? Converting sewage waste to drinking water. Now, when you use the bathroom, we all know what happens. You do your business, it goes down into the drought and down the toilet. You flush it, right? But nobody really understands the process of how that comes back into a water bottle. So I'm gonna just read this, right? It says California regulators on Tuesday cleared the way for widespread use of advanced filtration and treatment facilities designed to convert sewage waste into pure drinking water, right? It didn't say anything about rainwater. It said sewage waste into pure drinking water. It didn't say river water. It didn't say ocean water. It said sewage waste. Now, a lot of this can be, well, I'm gonna keep reading before I say that. It says that can be pumped directly into systems feeding millions of household taps, right? So this is tap water, right? A lot of us we use tap water for brushing our teeth. You might be, 12 o'clock in the morning, you might get a cup of water out the, faucet, whatever, right? But a lot of us don't realize that, a lot of these taps, a lot of these, sewer taps, a lot of sewage is going to come out of them pretty soon. And it's not raw sewage or anything by that matter, but nonetheless, this is something that comes out of bowels of anybody. You don't know what you're taking into your body, right? You got something, Potter?
Yeah, come, man. Hey, man, that's the foul meat and the foul bread right there, man. Imagine you wake up one night, you kind of cut on your faucet, and it does that. It kind of starts jamming up. Next thing you know, you got the water starts turning yellow, man. It starts turning brown. That's wicked, bro. And
Right.
that's wicked, man. Israel, we're a very clean people, man. Right? Esau, he loves doing that, man. I remember in when I was younger, man, watching those Discovery Channel TV shows. Esau, hey, he'll drink his own urine, man.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, we don't do that. Why? Because we got the law, statutes, commandments within us, man. And
Right.
Lord, strict commandment what we can and cannot eat, man. Right? He told us what? Eat things with both fins and scales, man. That comes out of the waters. And what? Also, eat animals that chew with the cud and have a cloven foot. Right? But Esau, he wants to make himself as the Most High God and change his ordinances, man. That's the only point I had to add on that.
Yeah, our people, we don't even like eating at certain people's houses. How much more, eating from somebody, literally from somebody's house,
Hey, Salaki, matter of fact, I do got a precept. I'm gonna let you finish though.
God. It says proven technologies capable of recycling wastewater for human consumption, a concept once derided by critics as toilet to tap. That's wicked. Have gained greater credence in recent years as water conscious California faces worsening drought cycles from climate change. And that was one of the main points I wanted to get. This is all alluding to, even though this may seem like, the shorter side of the stick when it comes to, something to report on, because this is nothing new. Sewage water, tap water, this isn't anything new. This isn't a new concept. However, given recent years, given things that have been going on in the world as of recent, I'm gonna read it again. It says have gained greater credence in recent years right? As water conscious California faces worsening drought cycles from climate change. That drought is playing a big role in what's going on in the world right now, right? A lot
See,
of things we can. Oh, go ahead, King.
no, no, go ahead. You building. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Con. A lot of things we could take just from what happened in 2020 from the pandemic, right? COVID-19, what happened, right? You had shortage. It was that year, or the following years after 2020. It's all the shortages just came at once. Boom, boom, boom. We got a shortage on meat. We got a shortage on bird. Not a bird. It's got the bird flu, right? Now the we have a water shortage, not water shortage, but droughts everywhere. You have different natural disasters going on in these different cities and places around the world, right? So that was the point. And I'm gonna get this real quick through the spirit, and I'm gonna let you cook. Let me see. I'm gonna get the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and I'm gonna start at verse 35. Right, so that drought is gonna play a dominant role in the days to come, right? Whether you believe it or not. Jeremiah 50 and 35, it said, "A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men." Now, we know, if you've been in the truth for a while, you should know that the Chaldeans and are the so-called modern day Edomites, right? I'll just put it like that. That's a breakdown for another day, for another, another video, right? But to make things short, the Chaldeans are your so-called Edomites, right? Now, and Babylon will be America, right? When it comes to prophecy, anytime you see Babylon, right, that is speaking about modern day America. Mystery Babylon, Babylon the Great, right? The whore, that is speaking about America, right? Like I said, it's a breakdown for another day, but just to get the point. So it says a sword is upon basically these Edomites and Babylon, right? And upon her princes, that'll be your nobles, your kings, your electoral houses, your democratic, your not democratic, but your political parties, right? And upon her wise men, your scientists, the ones that are promoting war, right? Creating this cadence of war in the world, right? And I'm gonna jump down to verse 38. 6. I'll read 37. It says, "The sword is upon their horses, meaning their power, right? And upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people, right, that are in the midst of her." Now, who are those mingled people, right? Who you would call Americans, people who have come on ships from different parts of the world to be an American, right? Now, when I say mingled people, I'm not talking about Israelites found in America. I'm talking about, you have your Indians, they come to America, or I'll say East Indians, they come to America to seek, a better life. Or you have, people from Russia, they come to America to seek refuge. You have people from China, they come from America, end up in somehow in California. See, so these are the mingled people. All races come to America to seek something and to get something out of America, right? Because from the outside looking in, America looks like that place. America looks like the place to be, right? You live in go to these different third world countries and see how they're living, and from the outside looking in, see how Americans are living. Right now, you could go to your store, get everything you need. You could go to the mall, get fresh. You could get fly, right, and you could go home and then just chill out all day, right, on your day off. Whereas in these third world countries, they got to work, 16 hours, maybe 20 hours a day, right? Go to sleep, feed their family, go to sleep, wake up and do it all over again, right? So from the outside looking in, America is looking like the place to be, the bomb diggity, right? It says, but it says a sword is upon her horses and upon her chariots and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women, right? Fragile, right? Weak,
Mm.
right? The woman is compared to as the weaker vessel in the scriptures, right? Hey, don't get mad at me. That's what the scripture says. It says a sword is upon her treasures and they shall be robbed, right? But this is the point. Verse 38, a drought is upon her waters. Now we understand, according to Job, right? The scriptures are twofold, right? So this is literal, and this is could be used as for something else. Like I said, a breakdown for another day, right? But it says a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Anywhere you go, it's an idol, right? The shoes we wear have idols on them,
Uh-huh.
right? The clothes we wear, right? You wear a Nike shirt or some Nike shoes. The Nike is an idol itself. It's the god of victory, right? So the land is full of graven images, and they're mad upon their idols, right? It says a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, right? So the Lord is bringing judgment in more ways than one, and one of those ways of judgment is through the water. You know, one of the fastest ways, and I'm gonna let you cook, Potter, right? But one of the fastest ways to cut off a nation is the food and water, right? Because what's going to happen? The nation's going to start starving itself out, right? It's going to be starved from the inside out. And when people start to get starved, people start to get, I'll say, hangry. They start to get desperate. They start to invade one another. They start to not mind their government because it's in our blood to have that need to survive. It's called fight or flight, right? So you have to pick and choose how you're going to survive, right? And everybody needs food. You can't move if you're being starved. Your body starts to eat itself internally, right? So we need these things, these nutrients, right? And especially this water, right? So now that's why I say the drought is tying into the drinking water, the sewage, right? This all ties into the end times, right? To now they're so desperate that you have to convert sewage water into drinkable water, right?
Mm.
But you got it, Potter.
Man, that's crazy, man. And they got to convert sewage water into drinking water to try to get away from the judgments of the Lord, man. Right? You can't get away from the Lord's judgments. Can I get the book of Jeremiah 5 and verse 23, Baba Kasha?
Huh.
And this is talking about Israel. But let's see what the Lord is going to say, man. It says what?
Khan, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, and verse 23. But this people hath a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone.
Right? It's talking about Israel, man. We're out there telling our people to repent, telling our people to come serve the Lord, and they don't want to do it. So our people are becoming more rebellious and more revolting. Next verse, please.
Khan. Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 24. Neither say they in their heart, let us now fear the Lord our God, that giveth rain, both the former and the latter, in his season. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest.
See that? Hey, so they still not considering that this drought is happening because of the Lord, man. They don't think that the Lord is starting to visit the earth, man. They think that what? Oh, it's just climate control, climate change. Well, it's just global warming. You know what I'm saying? They're not considering the works that the Lord is doing, man. These are signs and wonders to show us what? Hey, the world is coming to an end, man. They see that they see things going on in the earth, and they give it to they give the glory to the creation, not the creator, right? They look at the things that's being done and they say it's being done by coincidence. But us being spiritual, we know that trouble does not spring up out of the earth. So when it come down to it, man, a lot of people, they're blind in these days, man. And they take the stuff like Cali, turning sewage water into drinking water as a glorious thing, man, when it's not. Right? That's a filthy, nasty, defiled thing. And imagine this, man. You're in the wilderness. Somebody pees in a pot and kind of boils the water in the pot and try to drink that. Hey, you look at them like it's like they're crazy, man. Well, that's what Esau is doing right now, man. It's because what? They're slowly falling, man. They're slowly using their allies. They're slowly using their standards of living, right? They're being brought low and being humbled. The Lord is humbling them slowly but surely, man. And because all the stuff that they did to us, the Lord's going to drag it out for them, man. Right? That's it. That's all I had to add, man.
Khan, all praises. So again, I'm gonna just speed through this real quick, right? Because this is a quick little article, and this is going on in California at the moment. But things start off in bigger cities and trickle down into the smaller ones, right? This always happens, right? So it says more than a decade in the making, the regulations adopted by the State Water Resource Control Board represent a landmark in a quest to reclaim some of the hundreds of million gallons of waste discharge that flows out to sea unused each year, right? So they're on some hoard and buried alive type stuff, right? So they're trying to reclaim some of the hundreds of gallons of waste that goes out to the sea and reuse it, right? So like I said, this isn't anything new. These Edomites have been bathing in sewage. It's some things out there, these Edomites, man, they're nasty, but this is what it's come down to. All of it comes down to drought, right? All of it comes down to a lack of resources,
Hey,
right? So,
Salah, did you
oh,
see
go
that?
ahead.
Did you see that comment that brother put in there?
Let's see.
Look at this.
God,
In my strange addictions, they drank, bathe in urine, and put it in their eyes for eye drops, man.
yeah, I seen that. It was yeah, I seen that episode. It was that white woman. She was bathing in her own urine. You know,
Oh,
yeah. It was strange addictions. It was a white woman. She was bathing in her own urine, saying there's health benefits in
yeah.
urine in her dog. I believe yeah, in urine. She was It was another one, I believe. I don't know if it was the same one, but it was another one. It was another Edomite drinking their dog's urine. They put a cup under. No, it was a different person. They put a cup under where the dog uses the bathroom, and the dog let it rip and they drink it. So, like I said,
Oh,
this is nothing new to them, but it's something that we have to take into consideration as being, severed from the world.
hey, man, they
But
just like the man.
say that again, King.
I said they just like those Hamites that be letting cows pee on their head, man, and using that for water.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Yeah, these nations, man, they got an obsession with this stuff, man. Them Hamites, especially, they'll bathe in this stuff. Like I said, this is nothing new to the heathen. But like I said, we got to be staying on our pivot, as Israelites, because
Huh?
like I said, let me get that classic scripture, right? Leviticus 20 and 26. Right. This is for those that don't know the scripture. This is something that you have to have in the back of your head at all times. It says, "And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine." Right. So we can't be like these other nations. We got to be severed and separated and different. Right. So that's why the Most High, He put it in our spirit to already be kind of disgusted by these things as it is, because we just not like them.
You mind grabbing the
Yeah,
precept for me?
for sure. Yeah,
Second Ezra 15 and verse 15, Baba Shah.
signatures 15 and 15.
Yeah.
Got you. Right. This is the
Right.
book of Second Ezra,
Oh,
chapter
yeah.
15 and verse 15. It says, "For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh,
Mm-hmm.
and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands."
You see that? And that's what's going to be. This is the prophecy about the last days, what's going to be coming, right? And we see there's war going on in the earth, man, right? But not only is there wars going to be going on around the earth, but there's also going to be war going on inside America, Babylon, man. And this war is going to be a race war, right? And best believes Esau, hey man, he's putting every account of the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native American people attacking a so-called white person, man. And he's putting it on display just to try to show that we are wicked people, man. That we deserve to be killed at a high rate, to be extinct, man. And they can bring up all of these witnesses and say what? The Black Hebrew Israelites did it, man. Them BIEs, the Black Identity Extremists, man. Right? And you'll see that, man. Right? The Lord's putting a death spirit on the earth, man. And it's not only taking over animals, right? Taking over vehicles and have people dying by vehicles and other strange ways, but it's also hopping on men and having men kill other people. Matter of fact, and that's what this next article is going into. You mind getting that for me, Baba Kashar?
Con, right? So this is I was trying to pull it up, but I'll pull it up. Right. This is let's just go to the top. Right. End time headlines. Right. Another great news article. Right. They pumping stuff out about every 5 minutes. Right. But this is teen girls stabbed at Grand Central by psycho, shouting, "I want all the white people dead on Christmas."
You see that? Hey, man, nobody's wishing now for Santa Claus to bring them a flat screen TV no more, man.
No.
They don't want the Pokemon games, the PS5. They want all white people extinct.
Yeah. Hey, kids ain't asking for fire trucks no more, man. This is the agenda now. Right? Go ahead, King.
Well, you want me to read that so you can grab that article or whatever you want to grab?
No, I got it pulled up. It's something quick though.
Okay, Khan.
It says a troubled vagrant randomly stabbed 2 teenage girls enjoying a Christmas morning meal with their parents at Grand Central Terminal restaurant after ranting that he wanted all white people dead, authorities said. The girls, 14 and 16 years old, visiting from South America, were attacked at Tartinary in the Grand Central Dining Concourse around 11:25 a.m. Monday and suffered non-life-threatening stab wounds, police sources said. Now, this is what the brother said, right? "I want all the white people dead." The suspect, Stephen Hutcherson, 36, allegedly yelled, according to police sources, "I want to sit next to the crackers." So you gotta let that just simmer.
See that? The man said, "I want all white people dead, man." And that's the spirit the Lord's putting on people, man. Right? A lot of people are starting to realize that Edomites, they're the wicked ones, man. They're the ones that's destroying us at a high rate, man. They're the ones that's hated by the Most High God, man. Matter of fact, Malachi 1:3, Baba Kashar.
For sure.
Let's see how the Lord feel about the so-called Edomite nation, man.
Yeah. And then we got to talk about this because, we're going to get into this. It says, and I hated Esau, Malachi 1:3. It says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So the Lord said he hates Esau, man, right? And he left his heritage, his mountains, right, his cities as a waste, right, which is that Rome. But they returned and they rebuilt it. Next verse, Baba Kashar.
Right. It reads, verse 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
It says the Lord has indignation against them forever, man. That means the Lord will always have an art against the so-called white nation, man. The Edomites. He always have an art against them, man. He don't like them, right? And the Lord, he's making them now being openly attacked, man. And this is just one account, man. We don't know what's going on in the other states, man, in the other countries, in the other places on this earth, man. Hey, the so-called Hamites, hey, they starting to kick Americans, right, out of their land, man. And they getting down with Russia, man. So you got a lot of things going on in the earth, man, right? And this is a beautiful sign right here, man. The Lord is bringing his judgments on the earth, man. The Lord is slowly starting to judge the Edomites, man. And that's beautiful. Go ahead, King. I'm sorry. Salaki.
No, you all good, King. I wanted to address, well, I'm gonna get Matthew real quick, chapter 24, right? The classic precept. Because there's two things about this article that I have to address, right? It says, I'm gonna start at verse 7. Matthew 24:7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Right. So if you haven't read this chapter, it's a good chapter to get a good look at a little glimpse of prophecy that's coming to pass. But you know, predominantly in this verse it says, "For nation shall rise against nation," right? And you know, a lot of times when it's talking about nation against nation, right, you have different wars going on and rumors of war, right? But even with this, on a small scale like this, right, where you have, Jacob versus Esau, you know, going on, right? But at the same time, even though this is prophesied, we still have to stay on our pivot. Again, we have to be cautious and worried because these devils, like I brought out in First Peter 5:8, they're walking about seeking whom they may devour, right?
Mm.
So I don't, if you remember correctly, right, where they had that well, I'm gonna pull up the brother's mugshot, the so-called mugshot, right? So this is the brother's so-called mugshot. So who knows if this is a real mugshot or not, right? It says Stephen Hutchinson allegedly stabbed two teenage tourists in Grand Central Station. All right, or Grand Central Terminal, right? All right, in Manhattan. Now, if you remember correctly, a few years back when they had that the so-called brother that shot up the Jewish store, which turned out to be a complete lie, right? The powers that be, they set up these brothers to do these things, or not even set up brothers to do these things, because some of these things they're completely fabricated, right? But they put our people as the forefront of these savage people that just go around stabbing people, right?
Mm.
And then they'll have mugshots like this, and then this brother, might not at all even be connected to what's going on, right?
Mm.
So that's why I say we have to stay cautious, because these devils, right? Well, I don't know if this is the devil, but these devils, right? Like these devils, they'll do anything in their power to demonize us. And I wouldn't be at all, surprised if they say that he's linked to Black Hebrew Israelites. I wouldn't be at all, and I'll say Black Hebrew Israelites because that's what they call us, even though we denounce, being black, right? It says Hutchinson has an extensive criminal record, including 7 arrests in Manhattan and the Bronx since May, which is suspicious in itself. This brother has 7 arrests in Manhattan's in the Bronx since May of this year, and yet he's walking about freely. Stop. Now, this is a brother. We know what happens when we get convicted of something. We're serving more than just a few months, but he
Mm.
said 7 since May. It says his arrests include multiple assault weapons, possession of drug dealing charges. So, like I said, you just want to be, wary, because, or not weary, but aware, because, like I said earlier, um, like the article came out a few years back about the brother and sister that shot up the so-called Jewish store in New York. And again, this is happening in New York, right? So these are, so-called hate crime bills that are being passed on, like the one you have in Florida, right? These are so-called hate crimes that's being passed along, right, to sort of demonize the so-called black man. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if they link him to being an Israelite, right? But it says, I'm gonna read this. This is from Vanity Fair, right? It says Florida advances bill that would ban making white people feel bad about racism. And no, that's not a joke. So, and I recall this like it happened yesterday, right? Florida actually has a bill that if you make a white person feel bad, hey, that's a charge. That's a criminal charge, right? This is a bill, right, that could go into law. So these are just things intact to kind of keep judgment from going forth, but it has to go forth, right? And if you got a precept or a point, just let me know.
Man, I'm just imagining, man. You tell a so-called Edomite, hey, he's going into slavery and captivity, then you get locked up for it, man.
Exactly. Right. And they know the things we say are nothing but the truth. They know that because it's coming straight out of the Bible, which this country vowed for their life, to represent. You go into the court of law, you got to put your hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, right? Their not logo. Their motto is "In God We Trust," right? So it's going to appeal as though this is a God-fearing nation, but they really do everything that's against the scriptures, right? Whereas we come straight out of the scriptures and are demonized.
Yeah.
So that's the hypocrisy in that. So,
Matter of
like I
fact,
said, I'll go ahead.
I was about to tell you I had a precept when you get done, King.
Kind. You know, you also want to be careful, and use wisdom, brothers that go out and teach, but not saying, brothers got to be soft and no, give it as the spirit is putting out. But at the same time, just be aware that Esau is watching, and they're going to try to, turn up the heat, right? Which is all praise to the Most High, right? What's your precept, King?
Romans 12 and 19.
Okay.
Right? Even though, you know what I'm saying, Esau is turning up, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be afflicted a lot more, man. We're going to be persecuted a lot more. But we got to remember this one thing, man, and this is very important, right? You got it?
Con. This is the book of Romans, chapter 12, and verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord.
See that? We got to remember, the Lord, he wants to do the revenging, man. He wants to do the killing, man. We ain't got to do nothing. And you see it in the scriptures, man. Every time we went against, the Lord turned our captivity, he fought for us, man. There's not one captivity that Jake did it by himself. He kind of went out there and killed all the Edomites by himself without praying, without having the Most High on his side, man. Hey, the Lord's going to do that, man. Our job is to do what? Clean our spirits up, man. Clean up our minds, man, and try our best to walk in these laws, statutes, and commandments, man.
Right.
So don't follow after this man. And you're gonna see right being done in these last days, man. Don't go out there and start killing people, man. Allow the Lord's judgment to go down and don't pollute it, man. Go ahead, King.
Khan. This is brother Karatazar said, all praise to the Most High for Esau openly being targeted for their judgment that they have coming for them for their works, right? And this is all due. This is a due payment, man, right?
Yeah.
It says, the brother literally said, I want all the white people dead. He said, I want to sit next to the crackers, right? Right? So, like the brother was going into, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, because we understand this is not our place of rest, and it's going to be a lot more on us if we take matters into our own hands. So that's why I say, brothers, be wise continually, but also, continue to rebuke this wicked place, right? Mm-hmm. So with that, go ahead, King.
Yeah, King, and that was beautiful that you just said, man. Hey, this place is not our rest, man. That same emotion that you feel, that pain, that anger, hey, turn it into what? A prayer, man. And pray spirit, man. And let the Lord hear that prayer, man, and see and hear how you feel, man. Right? The Lord like a broken and contrite spirit, man. Right? So, hey, you being angry about how wicked this place is, and it's breaking you down to that point where you want to hurt somebody, but instead you pray to the Lord and ask him to do it. Hey, man, I'm pretty sure the Lord gonna do that just because you asked him to, man.
That's right.
But that's it, King.
Yeah, that's a great point. Turn it into a prayer. That's a great point. Right. So last article we're gonna get for today, we're gonna have time for, is everybody's favorite, right? Russia threatens to take U.S. military bases in NATO territory. Now this is kind of big, man. You got to save the best for last, right? This is kind of big. We got the main man. Hey, this man doesn't fear death, by the way. This is the face of a stone cold man, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna just get into it, right? Let me see. It says, in a clip shared on X, right, formerly known as Twitter, by Eastern European media outlet Nexta, Solovyov said Moscow should capture American bases in Germany, Italy, and Portugal, right? He said during Evening with Vladimir Solovyov, I believe that all American occupation troops should be withdrawn from Europe and Russian military bases should be located deep from the territory of the Russian Federation. right? So they're trying to, or it's within bounds, right? It's within what they believe that American troops should be removed from these bases, right? Because America's always getting involved in the stuff, right? We know this. It says, for example, it is perfectly possible to occupy part of the military bases that have been prepared by the Americans in Western Europe, right? Ramstein could be our base. We could very well be stationed at a number of bases in Italy. Then no questions arise. Then we will be sure that Europe will behave very decently and no threat to our state will come from the territory of Europe, right? I'm even continue on. It says this comes from amid reports that Russian President Vladimir Putin is preparing for a future large-scale war with NATO. So that's pretty big, right? That's pretty big, right? They're trying to remove American troops, right, for an easier access into these bases, right?
See that? Do you see it, man? That's crazy, man. They're kind of saying, hey, look, y'all gonna get out of here. We're gonna force y'all out, and then we're gonna kind of move into your house, man. Man, nobody likes America. America's that one person at the lunch table. You talking to your friends, and he kind of come up there and trying to cut you off and change the conversation, man. And when you ask, he kind of look at you crazy. Then he, you know what I'm saying, to spit in your face, man.
Right.
America's gonna go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You got it.
Man, America's gonna be destroyed. It's gonna be crazy, man. Can you get Obadiah, please, Baba Shah? 1-7.
Huh. Right. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse number 7. It reads, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that they eat slot. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under the tree. Slot, I'm tripping. It says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Hey, and I'm honest with you, man. Hey, the Europeans are cowards, man. So I'm led to believe that they're going to surrender to Putin just so they didn't have to fight him, man. Just so none of their troops died. They're going to just surrender, man. Because they still kind of heard about World War II, man. About that invasion. Right? Hey, Russia almost already took over the Europe one time. But this time what? Hey, they might be able to do it now. They got the intercontinental supersonic ballistic missiles now, man. And that's a big destruction, man.
Yep.
So that being said, hey, I'm led to believe Europe, they're gonna slowly fold to this, man. And NATO, they're gonna go from what? Being NATO to joining BRICS, man.
Yep. And real quick, as you can see, a lot of these countries are slowly ditching America, little by little. We've already seen a lot of these countries, they dropped out of using the American dollar, right? You know, different trade policies. A lot of these countries, they're just ditching America's ways, man. A lot of these people, they're going back to their old countries, right? And that's scripture. A lot of these citizens of America, not even citizens, right? But those that came to America for a better life, better, to build in America, they're going back, they're packing shit and going back to where they came from. A lot of these nations are, right? So, like I said, this is big, man. It says, I'm gonna read this part. It says the WMD is responsible for, and WMD, it stands for Western Military District, right? So the WMD is responsible for the Russian border with NATO members Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Finland, but has largely been committed to fight in Ukraine, where it has incurred significant losses. And we already know Russia's their sentiments with Ukraine and America joining in, right? So it seems like America, they're kind of pissing off Russia more and more. It says, meanwhile, Biden claimed earlier this month that Russia will be willing to attack NATO if it won its war in Ukraine. right? He warned that if Putin takes Ukraine, he won't stop there, adding that the Russian president's attack on allies could result in American troops fighting Russian troops. And that's a war. We already seen the things that Russia has going on. We've seen their military capability, right? We've seen their missiles. They've demonstrated and shown their power and their might just by short clips alone of what they have, right? You think America's ready to take on Russia? Honestly, America, right, with their transgender lieutenants, right? America's not ready to take on these different countries, man. Especially in Russia, that's a big time militant power, right? And even though America, they're the number one country, right? Their power is being diminished from the inside out, right? So, like I said, we have to be wary. We have to continue to stay on this news, right? Be diligent in what we find. Be diligent and studying to show ourselves approved, right? Because these things are soon to come. Like I read earlier, right? Nation is going to rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, right? There's going to be invading one another, right? That's not just your neighbor coming in and looking for more than a cup of sugar, right? These are nations coming in and invading into America, right? So it's going to be all out chaos. The Lord said we're going to be living in, times that there haven't been on the earth since, right? Unprecedented times. So we have to continue to stay in the spirit, right, and search out the things of the kingdom, right? You got anything else, Potter?
Con, man. Matter of fact, I just want to bring something out to the light, man. North Korea, they recently actually ran a test on a nuclear missile, man, and it was successful. You know what I'm saying? In North Korea, they're a big enemy towards America, man. So that's also big news right there, man. And if they weren't about the war with Russia and Ukraine, nobody's thinking about the war that's going to be happening soon between China and Thailand, man. Which is another people. Thailand, I think that they just joined to NATO not too long ago, man. So they're gonna be fighting two wars on two different sides of the earth, man. Right. So I just wanted to bring that up because I could have that's big news as well, man. North Korea, the people over there in Eastern civilization, hey, they're all going against us. Matter of fact, hey, look what that brother just said. He says what? Russia unleashes huge barrage of drones and rockets on Ukraine cities across the country where it hit in what Kiev said was one of the biggest aerial attacks of the war, man. That's crazy, man. Right now, there's I think there's two major wars going on right now: Israel and Gaza, and then this one, man, with Russia and Ukraine. And I seen a video of they taking a 18-wheeler that looked like a transport truck, and they were shooting missiles out of the thing, man.
Khan, the brother said this was done today.
That was done today.
So you see, this stuff is unfolding literally as we speak, every single day, which is why it's important to tackle these things and understand how they align, right? And also align them with scriptures as well, all right? So,
and that's why the Lord set up these men to do what? To stay on these lives, blow that trumpet,
stay on that pivot.
There we go, right there. Why you ain't do the thing, man? See that,
brothers? That's your thing. I can't do it. That's your thing.
Yeah, man, look,
brothers on the foundation.
Oh, see that? Well, with that, hey, Shalom Israel is brother Padawati from SOZ Houston.
Brother Yakal from SOZ Atlanta.
Hey, y'all be safe. Wash your hands. Kwam Yashallah. Shalom.
Yeah, stay safe. Pray for the brotherhood. Pray for the sisterhood. Pray for the houses of brothers that go out there and labor, as well as those that are being built up in this truth, right? It's important that we got to pray for each other because we all we have. No other nation's praying for us. Nobody's praying for the so-called black man and Hispanic man and Native American man. Come on now. We got to pray for each other, man. We all we got. So, definitely pray for the family, and make sure we, brothers and sisters are staying safe. Esau's releasing something. Lord willing, we'll report on that next week. Because Esau, they got to be releasing something to get everybody sick. Everybody in Israel is sick right now. So, it's imperative we, be there for one another.
Man, like, I talked to a few people, man. The same issues they're having on the East Coast, we're having down here in the South, man. The same symptoms and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's crazy.
Esau, he doing
outside. Khan.
Shalom.
Shalom. Kwame Shalom.